All right, welcome back to Wired-Tec. We're diving back into our series on the complete history of artificial intelligence. Last time, we left off in the middle of the AI winter, right? Everything had gone cold, funding dried up, and the big dream of intelligent machines was, well, it was on ice. The question we left you with was, what could possibly bring it back from the brink? Well, the answer wasn't some quiet discovery in a lab. Nope, it all started with a massive public showdown. So, the big question on everyone's mind in the 90s was this: can a machine actually outthink a human genius? And I don't mean in theory. This was a real-world challenge, a throwdown between the greatest chess mind of a generation and a machine built to do just one thing: win. Yeah, this was way more than a game. It was a battle for bragging rights, for intellectual supremacy. And the place? New York City. The year? 1997. The whole world was watching this rematch. It was one of those moments where you could just feel history was about to be made. It was human intuition versus pure, cold, hard calculation. So let's break it down. On one side of the board, you've got Garry Kasparov, the reigning world chess champion, a legend. On the other side, IBM's monster of a supercomputer, Deep Blue. Now for IBM, this was a genius marketing move, right? They wanted to prove that their machines can handle ridiculously complex problems. This was actually a 6-game rematch. Kasparov had beaten an earlier version, but this new Deep Blue, it was a whole different beast. So how in the world did Deep Blue pull it off? Simple. Brute force. This thing could crunch, get this, 200 million chess positions every single second. It wasn't thinking like Kasparov. It didn't have strategies or intuition. It just calculated every possible move and countermove at a speed that is just impossible for a human brain to even comprehend. And in the end, that raw computational power was enough. The machine won, a huge, monumental moment for AI. But here's the thing, and this is super important. Deep Blue's victory, as amazing as it was really the end of an era. It was the peak of old-school AI. It was a machine playing by rules that humans had programmed into it. Every move was based on human-written code. For AI to take the next big leap, it had to stop just following our rules and start writing its own.
And that right there, that's the fundamental shift that finally ended the AI winter. The future wasn't about programming a machine with a perfect set of rules. The real breakthrough was figuring out how to build machines that could learn their own rules just by looking at tons and tons of raw data.
Think about it like this. The old way, the rule-based way, was super brittle. A programmer would have to sit there and write, if it has pointy ears and whiskers and a tail, then it's a cat. I mean, what if the cat's tail is hidden? The whole thing breaks. The new way? Totally different. Instead of feeding the AI rules, you just feed it data. You show it 10,000 photos of cats and you let it figure out the patterns. It learns what catness is, all by itself.
This idea, this new approach, that's what we call machine learning. And it's the engine behind basically all modern AI. The machine isn't just a rule follower anymore, it's a pattern finder. It learns from experience, getting better over time, kind of like we do.
And the key technology making this all possible? It's the artificial neural network. The easiest way to think about it is like a computer model inspired by the human brain. It's got these layers of digital neurons that are all connected. And as it sees more data, the connections between those neurons get stronger or weaker. That's learning in a nutshell. Now, this whole idea of neural networks, it wasn't exactly new. But it took a handful of really brilliant, really stubborn researchers to keep the idea alive during the AI winter. I'm talking about people like Geoffrey Hinton, Yann LeCun, and Andrew Ney. They kept pushing this idea forward when almost nobody else believed in it, laying the groundwork for the absolute explosion that was just around the corner. And boy, was it an explosion. The 2010s. That was the decade AI went from being a niche thing in a research lab to being, well, everywhere. It was like a big bang, all powered by two key things: mountains of data and way, way more powerful computers. Just look at this timeline. It shows you how insane the pace was. Boom, one breakthrough after another. 2011, IBM's Watson wins Jeopardy. That same year, Apple put Siri in our pockets. A year later, 2012, AI learns to see. And by 2014, with Alexa, it's literally in our homes, listening to us. The speed of innovation was just staggering. Okay, let's zoom in on that first huge milestone, Watson. If Deep Blue was all about conquering pure logic, Watson was designed to tackle something way more complex, way more human,
our language. You see, winning at Jeopardy is arguably a lot harder than winning at chess. Chess has very clear logical rules. Language? It's a mess of puns, riddles, context, and irony. Watson had to actually understand the clues. To do that, it basically read the internet, millions of books, articles, encyclopedias. It proved that an AI could finally handle the tricky, nuanced world of human knowledge. So at this point, AI can master logic games. It can understand our language, but it was still basically blind. The next huge mountain to climb was giving machines the ability to see. And that breakthrough moment came in 2012 at a competition called the ImageNet Challenge. A team led by one of those pioneers we mentioned, Geoffrey Hinton, showed up with a deep neural network they called AlexNet. And listen, it didn't just win the competition, it completely crushed it. The results were so much better than anything else that it shocked the entire AI world. This was the moment the deep learning revolution truly began. So what do we mean when we say an AI can see? It's not just recognizing an animal in a picture. It's telling the difference between a leopard and a jaguar. It's finding that one specific cat in a super cluttered YouTube video. It's identifying a certain type of flower in a huge field. All of a sudden, machines could perceive the visual world with an accuracy that was just mind-blowing. Okay, so these advances in language and vision were absolutely game-changing, but they were still mostly happening in university labs and tech companies. The final piece of the puzzle was getting this incredible power into the hands of you and me. And the first one to do that on a huge scale was Apple with Siri in 2011. All of a sudden, you could just talk to your phone, and it would talk back. It was revolutionary. Then, a few years later, in 2014, Amazon's Alexa brought that same conversational AI right into our homes. That was the moment AI stopped being a futuristic idea and became a real everyday utility, like electricity. So when you step back and look at it, the progress in just 2 decades is absolutely staggering. AI went from being frozen in the AI winter to being completely reborn. It could now see, it could reason, and it could play games better than any human on the planet. But for all that incredible power, this AI had one major limitation. It was a genius at analyzing things. It could classify a picture, understand a command, find a pattern, but it couldn't create. It couldn't generate something new out of thin air. It didn't have an imagination. And that brings us to the cliffhanger for this episode. AI could see the world and beat us at our own games, but it couldn't write a poem or paint a picture or compose music. So what was the invention in 2017 that changed everything and finally gave AI an imagination? That's what we'll dive into next time. So if you want to get the answer, make sure you're subscribed to Wired-Tec, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next part of our series.